Thank you so much. And now we start with this technical session on exploring the realm of forensic accounting, uncover the exciting prospects within forensic accounting, delving into the world where financial experts meet investigate skills, offering dynamic opportunities for emerging chartered accountants. We have the speaker, CA GC Pipara sir on the dais. We have respected regional council member CA Chintan Patel sir, and we have the treasurer of Ahmedabad branch CA Rinkesh sir on the dais. And now request CA Chintan Patel sir to take the session ahead. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Abhinav, for giving me this opportunity. I know we are late today and we started too much late, so not taking much time. Also, another faculty is still sitting with us. Sir, this is the first session. Forensic accounting, as the president has already mentioned, that it's really a very niche area. However, not so much different because it is an extension of our existing practice of accounting and auditing. And this is the area which is ever evolving and a lot of opportunity for all of us. Today we are having with us the faculty who has a very good experience on this particular topic. Mr. Gyan Chand Pipara ji, CA Gyan Chand Pipara ji. He has been in this practice of accounting, taxation, audit since more than 39 years. And he is a founder partner of firm Mrs. Pipara and Company LLP, fellow member of ICAI. And he has been involved into the various forensic assignments which has been provided with SFIO, that is a body registered for forensic accounting, plus CBI. He is also a consultant to State of Gujarat Economic Offences Cell of CAID crime, and he has authored a book on forensic accounting, forensic audit decoded and balance sheet decoded. So a lot of experience with this particular person is there. I am sure that we are going to immensely benefit by his knowledge. Welcoming you, sir, here for sharing your valuable knowledge. Thank you so much. I would like to welcome him with a bouquet and a memento. I request Rinkesh Bhai to join.
Good morning, friends. We had a wonderful inaugural session today by our own President Aniket Talati, very, very dynamic. And thanks to the office bearer of the Ahmedabad branch for inviting me and share my views and thought and how the opportunity lies so far as forensic audit is concerned. Friends, let me start with an important issue. As we all know that yesterday India has celebrated a very historical day, and it is being claimed in the various media and newspaper that India is entering into a new era. I don't know how far it is correct, but let me make it very clear that our auditing and accounting profession certainly need to enter into a new era. Why I say so? I draw support from two things. One, the very recent order passed by NFRA, wherein in majority of the cases, NFRA has held that either the auditor has not performed his duties well, number two, or the auditor has compromised in his position as an independent auditor. And therefore, I was really at pains when I read each and every order of the NFRA, and so much allegations had been made on the profession, and therefore I really thought that it is a good opportunity for us chartered accountant that we should really look into the concepts of auditing and assurance considering the present requirement of the days. Second, friends, I draw reference from the various annual audited reports as I read as my part of analysis, because I have written 2 books, Balance Sheet Decoded and Forensic Audit Decoded, and I impart large number of trainings to bankers, regulators, etc., etc. And then when I come across the large audited financial statements, I really found that there were total misstatement of information or various information stated in the notes or something stated differently, which should have been qualified by the auditor and which has not been qualified, or the EOM or what it may be has not been given. So how the forensic audit field has emerged? Let me give you a brief background. Way back in the year 1991, when Reserve Bank of India has constituted a Narasimhan committee to look into the role and responsibilities of the various bankers with respect to the large scale loan given, and then came in the year 2003 liberalization, where the bank started giving loan left and right without looking into the core assets, without looking into the business model, without looking into the underlying securities, without looking whether the company will be able to service the loan or not. Why I am saying so? Because banking is the biggest opportunity for we young chartered accountants in the field of forensic audit. So I'll be giving you first a reference with the banking industry, how the forensic audit has evolved and where does a big and good opportunity lies. So friends, if you remember, if you see the growth of the banking loans and advances balance sheet size, it grew manifold from 2003 and onwards. Then came, friends, in the year 2008, we all remember there was financial crisis. As a result, revenue declined, profitability declined, and loan accounts started defaulting. When I say defaulting, meaning thereby, either the loan the company has taken, they were not able to service the loan by making payment of interest, etc., or wherever there was a term loan which is given for the underlying assets, company has defaulted in making repayment of those term loan installment. So that was the year 2008, and then came the 2012, 13, 14, 15, because normally it takes 3 to 4 years to unearth a misstatement of information in a financial statement or wrong audited financial statement, and therefore the effect of huge loan given to the corporate sector vis-a-vis 2008 financial crisis, and then there was a बैंकों में एक होड़ लगी थी कि कौन ज़्यादा बिजनेस करता है. So all banks started giving loan, be it a private sector, be it a public sector. And friends, to your surprise, as at 31st March 2015, out of the total loan book of 75 trillion rupees, 11%, meaning thereby 8.2 trillion rupees loan turned into NPA. Imagine a situation, friends, that out of 100 rupees loan given, on an average, 11 rupees has gone bad. And this is only that loan we are talking, friends, which the account has been reported as non-performing assets. There were still several accounts where there was evergreening, meaning thereby the bank give new loan so that the old loan can be repaid, which is not considered as non-performing assets. And therefore, in the year 2015, the Parliamentary Accounts Committee called the then Governor of the Reserve Bank of India, Dr. Raghuram Rajan, asking why there is so much stress in the banking sector, why the account has turned into NPA, and why the NPAs are close to 13 or 14%. And if you talk of the few banks, there were NPAs close to 20%. If you talk of UCO Bank, Oriental Bank of Commerce, PNB, etc., there the account overall loan was close to 20%. So friends, he gave 3-4 reasons, and one of the reasons is our issue we are going to discuss today. So the Raghuram Rajan said that there is an urgent need for bankers to do the forensic audit of all the accounts wherever the bank has given loan, and to look into the end use of the funds, where the fund is used, or misused. And that is why the Reserve Bank of India has come out with a circular that initially wherever loan account in excess of rupees 50 crore has turned into NPA, the chartered accountant, look at the value of our certificate, the chartered accountants who hold certificate of practice, the Reserve Bank of India has considered that this is the appropriate class because chartered accountant is independent, he is away from the bank, he is also not related with the company which has been audited or which is where the loan is been given and the account has turned into NPA. So as a result, friends, in India, if we talk, from 2015 and 16, large scale of forensic audit started giving to we chartered accountants. So then the bank, the Reserve Bank of India has made a list of all defaulters. Initially they came out with dirty dozen because there were the large 12 accounts. And in the large 12 accounts, they included DHFL, HDIL, Reliance Capital, Sujlon, Ruchi Soya, etc., where the loan amount was ranging from, friends, you will imagine, more than 5,000, 6,000 crore to each loan account. And on all those cases, friends, then gradually starting, so the forensic audit, friends, today lies into one where the account has turned into NPA. Now even the IBA, Indian Banking Association, which is the overseeing body with respect to all banks in India, they have started making panel of the chartered accountant who is capable of doing the forensic audit. There they have two types of panel. One panel for loan amount in excess of rupees 50 crore and other less than 50 crore. So the criteria for the young chartered accountant is little relaxed. If you are new chartered accountants, if you have a group of chartered accountants, if you have a capability, if you can demonstrate that what tool you are going to use for the purpose of forensic audit, because these are all the criteria to be empaneled in IBA for the purpose of forensic audit. So I request you all to look into that panel, apply, and at least start with a panel for the borrower exposure less than rupees 50 crore. And once you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 forensic audit, certainly you will be eligible for the higher amount of forensic audit. So the first opportunity, friends, is with respect to forensic audit with respect to the bank borrower where the account has turned into NPA. Realizing that there are large scale NPAs still, realizing that there is a gap between the financial statement as stated and the actual financial position of the company, realizing that the business model also needs to be looked into, the bank has come out, the Reserve Bank of India has come out with a new concept of ASM, Agency for Specialized Monitoring. Meaning thereby, friends, even if the account is not into NPA, but banks feel, number one, that there is a substantial amount of loan given. Number two, bank feels that there may be some stress in the company in the near future, and therefore, bank also started allotting audit to a chartered accountant individually or to a chartered accountant firm to work as ASM, Agency for Specialized Monitoring. So there, the report is to be submitted either on a monthly or a quarterly basis, depending upon the scope of work. And normally the scope of work is very, very multifold as compared to our routine statutory and auditing assurance practice. There you need to look into the business model, there you need to look into the end use of the funds, everything you need to look into. And the responsibility given on ASM is that the payment is released only if the payment is certified by the ASM agency who has been appointed by the bank. So there is a tremendous scope and responsibility on ASM. So I also request you to look into this possibility of ASM audit, wherein each and every bank, even at a local level, even at the regional level or zonal office level, started making panel of chartered accountants for the purpose of ASM. So this is another big opportunity, friends, for the young chartered accountants, for all of us, for all of you, rather, because we are also working on the large assignment of ASM, but for at least for the small and medium account, they do prefer a local person, a local agency who can devote more time and energy and can support to the bank's purpose and can really detect diversion of the funds and siphoning of the funds. So this is the second opportunity. Coming back to the friends, what is forensic audit? Let me just give you a brief background idea. Normally, friends, our statutory audit is with respect to expressing an opinion on the true and fair view of the financial statement. Am I right? Whereas the forensic audit is not on opinion, but it is giving a clear-cut report with respect to three major points. One, is there any misstatement of information in the financial statement? When we say misstatement of information, meaning thereby, whatever is recorded in the books of accounts is exactly matching with the financial statement. And two, if there is any violation to accounting standards, or for that matter, auditing standards, whether auditor has qualified his opinion or emphasis of matters or disclaimer opinion, whatever it may be. So for example, let me give you a misstatement of information. A company is showing inventory, and if during the course of audit, if we come across that some of the item of the inventory are slow moving or non-moving, so naturally we have accounting standard 2, which says that slow moving or non-moving inventory cannot be shown as a part of inventory. It needs to be written off in the financial statement by charging to profit and loss account and reducing the amount of inventory. Because as we all know, inventory is a part of security wherever there is a loan given by the bank as a working capital loan. And in any case, even if it is not a working capital loan, because it affects the overall tangible net worth of the company. Because if inventory is overstated, naturally assets are overstated, so as to reserves and surplus, and so as to tangible net worth. So misstatement of information could be with respect to inventory, with respects to loans and advances, with respects to debtors, where in the list of debtors several parties are appearing which are outstanding for more than 2 years, 3 years, 6 months. If my credit period is, let us say, 3 months, if the amount is not received within a period of 3 months, as an auditor, we need to look into why this amount is shown as an outstanding. And therefore, this is termed as misstatement of information. Another classic example of misstatement of information is that certain facts is stated in the disclosure notes on accounts with respect to accounting policies. For example, we have accounting policies with respect to revenue from operation. So one of the requirement of revenue from operation is the transfer of risk and reward. The moment risk and reward is transferred, the company is required to consider it as a revenue from operation, or for that matter sales. So the accounting policy clearly states that the company has a policy of recognizing revenue when risk and reward is transferred. But when actual financial statements are looked, there may be certain sales wherein the risk and reward is not transferred, still the company has considered as sales, and which is very common in pharma company, where there is a contract manufacturing. In case of a construction company, where there is a project method of accounting is followed. So naturally, in some financial statement, friends, you will find unbilled revenue or unbilled debtors. This is the new terminology, some statement. So like that, the misstatement of information is the first part of the forensic audit, where what you require: accounting skill, auditing skill, complete knowledge of accounting standards, and an analytical ability to analyze the whole situation, to analyze the entire transaction, to analyze the business model, to analyze the end-to-end use of the funds, not restricting for a particular year. Because financial statement has a restriction that we are restricting ourselves for the transaction which has taken place during the year. But in forensic audit, we travel right from origin of the transaction till end of the transaction. So if the debtors are shown even as opening balance, in forensic audit you require to consider since how long it has been shown as opening, when the supply was made, is it amount likely to be recovered so as to be charged to profit and loss statement, and so and so. I'll come that how the opportunity lies in this, but coming back to that, as I said, there are three major points. The regulator or the bankers look to us from the forensic auditor. One is misstatement of information, because particularly after the amendment, after the new Companies Act 2013, we have section 446 and 447, where even the misstatement of information is considered as a fraud. And second point, friends, is diversion of the funds. Diversion of the funds meaning thereby the company has borrowed the loan. Let us say the company has borrowed the term loan for the purpose of addition to plant and machinery, but company has used for the purpose of, let us say, giving loan to subsidiary. So where the purpose is different, then the purpose for which loan is given, end use is different, then the loan for which purpose is given, it is diversion of the funds. And the third is siphoning of the funds, as the name suggests, where the funds has been siphoned by the management outside the company. Classic example of the siphoning of the fund is that company enter into a agreement for the purchases of goods, company makes certain advances for the supplier, supplies were never made, and agreement was nothing but only a piece of paper, only an evidence. If intention was that to take away the funds from the company, it is the siphoning of the funds. So friends, the forensic audit, you need to have it develop a capability of analyzing the transaction from end to end use. What is the end use of the funds? Trail of the funds is one of the important points. Trail of the commodity, that how the commodity has moved. If it is a purchases, sales, purchases of fixed assets, etc., that capability needs to be looked into. So friends, these are the three basic points, be it ASM, be it forensic audit, where the regulator, the person who has appointed you, looks into with clarity, is there any siphoning of the funds, is there any diversion of the funds, or is there any misstatement of information. Coming back to the friends, where does this opportunity lies? As I said, in India, the NPAs were more, and it is only in India. If you look at UK, USA and European countries, friends, their NPAs are ranging between 1% to 2%. So it's not that the economic turmoil was only in India, it was a global phenomenon. And therefore, friends, I would like to share one important point, that the other day I was with Ministry of Finance, and the Ministry of Finance has a very clear-cut view that implication of giving a wrong audited balance sheet is much serious than a murder. I said why? We were interacting. The ministry said that in a murder, the person who is murdered, or at the most 2 persons or 3 persons are affected. But in a wrong financial statement, entire ecosystem is disturbed. There are large number of stakeholders, there are shareholders, there are regulators, there is income tax department, there is a GST department, there are lenders, there are huge investors, bondholders, debenture holders. Everyone is affected by giving a wrong financial statement. So friends, try to imagine how much strength we have today in auditing and assurance in giving an audit report or a certificate. I will also share you one instance, friends, that in one of the case when we were doing the forensic audit, as we know that sometimes bank asks a borrower company to obtain a certificate from chartered accountant with respect to end use of the funds. Because in the bank, end use of the fund is most important. How the funds which has been disbursed by the bank is given. And in forensic audit, invariably you will be required to look into the end use of the funds. And moment you find there is a diversion of funds or siphoning of the funds, naturally you will go to the company borrower and ask what is the purpose and how the funds has been utilized. So naturally, every installment, every term disbursement, every loan, there is a end use certificate either by the statutory auditor sometimes, if the bank specifies, otherwise there is a certificate shopping, I call it in forensic audit. So the borrower will go to A chartered accountant, if A give, okay, if A not give, he'll go to B or C. At least out of A, B, C, D, someone will be able to give that certificate. And the same thing has happened, friends. This is a very alarming situation that in one of the case, we were doing forensic audit, a certificate was issued by a young chartered accountant like you, and he happens to be from my own Ahmedabad city, and the loan account was in Mumbai. Banks were in Mumbai, company was in Mumbai, there was no connection with respect to Ahmedabad city, but since it was a certificate shopping, and when I was investigating that affairs, the chartered accountants, we had an occasion to interrogate him on behalf of agency, and the chartered accountant clearly admitted, sir, मैंने तो नई practice start की थी, मेरे को पैसे की ज़रूरत थी, 7,500 मैंने एक सर्टिफिकेट के लिए और ऐसे मैंने 10 सर्टिफिकेट इशू किए. And you know the amount of loan, friends, 600 crore were disbursed by the bank on the strength of that certificate. Because that point of time, no one thought that this account will turn into NPA. That time everything was good. So friends, when you do the forensic audit, when you do the audit, when you issue a certificate, you have to be very clear. You don't look that the today everything looks okay. We don't know when a certificate or a financial statement signed today, it is signed today, it will be used forever. So the account was running good. After 4, 5, 6 years, the account turned into NPA. Agencies and everyone involved, forensic audits were allotted, and this is what the fate of the certificate issued by chartered accountants, of course. Then friends, let me also give you that where does more opportunities lie. So one is bank, as I said, forensic audit, less than 50, more than 50 crore, ASM. Second, wherever there is a forensic audit already completed, and moment a fraud is found, or diversion or siphoning is found, there is a clear-cut instruction by the Reserve Bank of India that the bank needs to file a complaint with CBI, ED and SFIO. It's a mandatory. There also, all these three regulatory agencies are taking help of chartered accountant for the purpose of completing the investigation. Because in government, they have no infrastructure, they have no manpower, or the officers, particularly in the CBI and SFIO, they does not have thorough knowledge of the financial statement. So each and every case being investigated presently by the SFIO. SFIO has office in Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad and Kolkata. Delhi is the head office. And there are several officers, and each officer is investigating close to 20 or 25 cases. And they are able to close 5 to 6 cases only in a year, each officer, because there is so much verification of the details. And their scope of your services, forensic audit, is much bigger, because in SFIO, the whole group is being investigated. If the forensic audit is for one particular company, then all the subsidiaries, holding company, joint venture, associates, all are being ordered by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs to be investigated. So there, in one investigation, there are large number of units. In one case where we are helping the SFIO is ILFS case, there are close to 300 companies. So you can imagine how much manpower you need to devote. So there also, friends, you can explore the possibility of forensic audit by going to the regulator. Directly, regulator is appointing particularly SFIO, where they look for young chartered accountants who can analyze the data, who can use the computer technique, who can use the audit technique, so as to help them in finding out diversion of funds, siphoning of the fund, trail of the fund, trail of the commodity, and even in drafting the report, because they do not have that skill of drafting the report. Try to understand, friends, our forensic audit, your forensic audit, this investigation is likely to travel to the Supreme Court because the other party is going to challenge it. So your report has to be very, very clear, concise and to the point, and the conclusion also has to be on a relevant issue. Third opportunity, friends, lies with CBI. Every case investigated of a financial fraud also goes invariably to CBI. CBI also taking help of chartered accountant to help them in giving the manpower as well as the knowledge how to take the investigation forward, because they are particularly all police officers, they are not that well equipped about the accounting standards, about the transactions, about the movement of funds, about looking into the voluminous transactions. They have power of gathering the information. So by power, they'll be gathering information, soliciting details, recording statement, and then they are giving to chartered accountants to analyze it, look into everything, and help them in concluding the investigation. Third scopes and most important, which is, friends, in my view, is your own company where you are doing the auditing and assurance practice. There also lies a good scope in forensic audit in the form of, may not be forensic audit, friends, but as a management audit, as an internal auditor, as an investigation audit. Let me give you a few examples because we are already running short of time, not taking much, but I'll give you a few clues. Let us say, friends, you are doing the statutory audit of a company and you come across that there are huge debtors. And you also come across, by looking at the aging analysis, that some of the debtors are there since last couple of years. There you can render the management services in getting them verified whether these debtors are really recoverable or not recoverable. If not recoverable, giving services with respect to within the scope of 144, that not disturbing your independence. If you feel that this scope is more, I'm going to get more fees, I will suggest you leave the statutory audit, give it to your friend and concentrate on the larger aspects of that audit, where like CWIP. I have seen large number of companies, friends, where the capital work in progress has been shown year after year. We have accounting standards which say that only where the economic value is likely to be recovered, only that part is required to be shown as CWIP. But let us say you have been appointed as a statutory auditor in this year and the company is having CWIP carried over since last couple of years. You can certainly render services with respect to looking into to whom the amount is paid, whether the amount is correct, whether the amount is recoverable, what is the underlying document, is it a diversion of funds, it is a siphoning of the funds, or some fraud has been made by the persons which is not known to the main owner or promoter of the company. Similarly, friends, with respect to inventory, debtors, CWIP, various investment made by the company, as we all know, that investment into joint venture, subsidiary, associates also requires to be provided for the diminution in the value of investment, and wherever you find that the proper diminution is not made, that's also leading to misstatement of information. So with respect to management audit, call it a investigation audit, you may call it a special audit, you may call it a internal control audit, looking to the position that what position you have in the company or a group. You can certainly examine the transaction for last 4, 5, 6 years so as to have a complete business analysis, business cycle. You can also render, friends, services with respect to advising management that your capacity is 100 ton and you are only manufacturing at, let us say, 50% capacity, 40% capacity. Why don't you utilize this capacity by giving it on rent? How is it possible? Examine the record. What is the plant and machinery? What is capacity? How much capacity is utilized? And even if the capacity is underutilized and still management going for capex or expansion, you can suggest that there is no need. So looking into the business model, business cycle, operating cycle, revenue model, how to enhance the value of a company, because we chartered accountants having thorough knowledge of accounting, auditing, analytical skill, and use your professional judgment, professional skepticism, and guide the companies that can also take you to a larger forensic audit, because this analysis, this special audit, this investigation audit can help you in building your CVs and biodata, which will make you eligible for the forensic audit as allotted by the bank or Reserve Bank or ASM or by the IBA or various other institutions. Yeah. So friends, I would like to conclude my analysis, my thought on forensic audit. Yes, there is a lot of opportunity. You need to explore it. You need to capture that capability either at the regulator level, bank level, regulator level, or even at company level. And as we all know, अपने चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट इंस्टीट्यूट के लोगों में ही लिखा है, क्या लिखा है? ये यीशु सप्तेषु जागृति. द चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट इज वन हु इज अवेकन, जो जगा हुआ है. पूरी पब्लिक सो रही है पर चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट जगा हुआ है. आपको यू नीड टू कीप योर ईयर एंड आइज ओपन व्हेन यू डू द ऑडिट. थिंक ऑफ इट एंड हमेशा जगे रहिए. सर्टेनली यू विल गेट ए गुड अपॉर्चुनिटी इन योर लाइफ. बिकॉज प्रॉब्लम क्या है, अपन लोग अपने कंफर्ट जोन से बाहर नहीं आना चाहते हैं. जो कर रहे हैं करते रहते हैं, जो फीस दे रहे हैं लेते रहिए. आपको लग रहा है कि ये अकाउंट में प्रॉब्लम है, आपको लग रहा है कि अकाउंट सही नहीं चल रहा है, आपको लग रहा है कि ये मुझे बाद में जाके तकलीफ देगा, छोड़ दीजिए. एक छोड़ेंगे 10 काम नया आएगा. अगर आप खाली नहीं रखेंगे अपने दिमाग को, अपने आप को, तो नई लेने की कैपेसिटी कहाँ रहेगी. सो फ्रेंड्स, come out of your comfort zone, try to exert yourself. There is a great deal of life which can give you. And I have started my practice with zero, and today I have a staff of 280 plus persons. We are working in almost all the geographies of India as well as abroad. That is possible only if you don't cut the corners. This is my another. So do the assignment with your full integrity, honesty. There is a whole lot of opportunity with respect to at least forensic audit in the near future, considering the huge gaps found in the audited financial statement by the various regulatory authorities. Thank you, friends. Thank you for the institute.
Thanks a lot, Pipara sir, for addressing the young minds of the professions about the forensic audit. And at the concluding part, you rightly mentioned that you should grab the new opportunities and you should say no to the routine activities and have your footprints in the areas like forensic accounting. Thanks a lot, sir, and definitely we will take your advantage in few sessions to come in Ahmedabad branch, specifically to address on the forensic audit for 2 to 3 hours. Now I would like to request for the next session, I would like to request the immediate past chairman Bishan Bhai and RCM sir Vikas Bhai to please escort the next faculty.